Reaching the North Pole seems like an achievement in itself, but what more if you run and finished a full marathon in the North Pole? Well, who better to talk about that than the first Filipino who ever achieved the feat? We're happy to have here in the studio Victor Consunji himself. Good morning, Vic.
Good morning, Claudine.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Okay, now, first question, why? Actually, no, why in the world would you want to run a marathon in the North Pole?
Well, you know, I'm pretty driven. I wanted to push my limits. I think everybody's curious about how far they can go. And you know, in running marathons, I mean, it's great. It's fun, but I wanted to see, you know, the ultimate challenge of marathons, I guess.
A step up from the normal. Yeah. Let's make it clear. A marathon is actually 42 kilometers, is
42
it?
Kilometers.
And you did this in super harsh conditions. Can you describe it to us?
Negative 30 degrees, threat of polar bears, hypothermia, cracks in the ice that you could fall through and drown in 14,000 feet of water.
Wala lang. Yeah. No big deal. That's crazy. How did you prepare for something like this? I mean, I see my friends training for the marathon and it's hard enough, but what more in those conditions?
Well, there's the usual training for the marathon. And then on top of all of that, I would go to Imperial Ice Bar and train inside their freezer. You know, I would move a treadmill inside there. I also did some cold weather running in Boston. So, and of course, lots of advice from friends around the world. They helped me with the preparation. It's not exactly like I could ask someone, you know, hey, how do you run?
It's all you. That's right. And let's just make this clear. Vic actually is also taking up some studies in Harvard as well. So you're doing your studies and your training. So it's like an all-around guy. Let's talk about how, you know, that moment. I have friends who say, you know, when they're running a marathon, there's a moment when you just want to give up. I'm sure you reached that moment running the North Pole Marathon. How did you get yourself through it?
I decided that frozen was not a good condition for me.
Yeah, because you could get frostbite. You could get...
And if you stop running, your core body temperature drops, and then you become prone to hypothermia and everything. And at that point, you've also been sweating inside your gear, and this sweat actually freezes. If you stop running or decide to give up at that point in time, the risks are significantly bigger than just, you know, a normal marathon. You could just walk, I suppose, but then it probably wouldn't be too healthy.
Right. Could you even hydrate throughout your run? Does it freeze?
No,
Water should freeze, right?
We have aid. There's an aid tent which is heated, and you have your usual marathon gels and water and hydration and whatever else it is that you need. So I mean, it's a proper marathon. Just complicated.
I just cannot imagine. Okay, now that you've already accomplished this, is there something else that you want to achieve other than this? Are we going to see you doing, I don't know, jumping off the highest building soon? Or what's next?
No, I mean, well, probably Antarctica. I'd like to actually do both top and bottom of the world. So, at least Antarctica has penguins as opposed to the North Pole, which had polar bears. Right, so that's a plus.
Right. Well, we're also proud of you. Vic is a friend, and of course his wife Maggie's a friend too. So great having you back, and good luck on your next one, Vic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, that was Victor Consunji, the first Filipino to run a full marathon in the North Pole.